it just dawned on me that I did not put on my do not disturb. And I don't know about you guys, but when I'm recording or going live like we are today, that do not disturb, oh, it comes in handy because it never fails that when you don't turn it on, the phone calls come in. They come in. So, hey, let me get myself together now that we are working all the things out. Let's play some intro music and get the show started. Good evening. I almost said afternoon, but it is 5 o'clock. It is 5 o'clock. Good evening. It is Gwendolyn, 𝐰𝐢𝐭𝐡. Welcome to Small Biz Bites. Welcome. All right. Let me go ahead and call it because I'm going to go ahead and call it. Just a little bit on the tired side. I know. I've been running and gunning and it catches up with me from time to time. So I figured, although I am not really a person who gets a jolt from coffee, I thought perhaps I could enjoy a coffee-inspired drink. That'll help me get through the rest of the day because my day is not over. So I'm having an espresso teeny. Now, I don't know if I'm going to feel any different. I really can't tell you, but we'll find out soon enough as we get this going. First of all, let me go ahead and, I have to shout out my mother, who shows up the way she always does, gets her salutations in, because I really like a mother deciding to get all her salutations in while she's waiting for the show to start. So shout out to Mother for being here and making sure everybody feels welcomed. I will also go ahead and say that next week, while we're here getting things together, next week we have Nat. He's going to talk about overcoming self-sabotage as an entrepreneur. Don't know about you guys, but I do know there was a place, I should say was, because was means past tense. There are still times where I consciously, subconsciously do things that, hinder my progress and get in the way. It's not on purpose. And it's not constant because clearly I'm doing like 5,000 things, but it does happen. And I do recognize it. So it will be awesome next week for Nat to share with us his own journey and advice for overcoming self-sabotage if you are a small business owner or an entrepreneur. And I'm going to go ahead and say this is also relevant for those of us who are still growing our career, whatever that career is. Sometimes we do things that hinder our progress. Sometimes we're aware of it. Sometimes we are not. So I can't wait to have Nat come on and talk about self-sabotaging. I also want to say, because it's early still, let me go ahead and get all my news in, that if you have not, I'm going to invite you to sign up to the 𝐃𝐨𝐧'𝐿 newsletter, where we do some podcasts. Is it recaps? I think it's called recaps, right? Podcast recaps. We also share some other details about small business life, growing your career, sometimes podcasting, scheduling, how to manage it all. We do all of it. Every single thing. So if you're not on the list, I'm going to highly suggest that you go ahead and get on that list. And as we're waiting for our guests, let me also give one more piece of news. And that is this Saturday, for those of us who are Prince fans, and you can't see my shirt, but I'm wearing my Purple Rain shirt right now. And I do have my Prince guitar pick. There it goes, make sure I can see it. For those of you who are Prince fans, we are celebrating this Saturday in the virtual space, Purple Rockers. It is a Go Brunch space, right? So you can definitely come on your phone. You can go on your phone. I suggest a tablet or a desktop laptop to have a really good experience, but you can always use your phone. But this Saturday, we will be celebrating the genius of Prince, sharing a lot of his music. And I gotta say, I am one of those fans that have music from way back when, music from the vaults, the audio files, stuff after, met a couple of DJs, bought their collection of music. So we got some serious stuff here. So we'll be sharing the music, sharing our stories, our favorite lyrics, concert memories, all the stuff. 4:00 p.m. Central. It's in Purple Rockers. In my bio, there is a link to A New Attitude. That's the name of the Go Brunch community. And if you just want to check out the room, you can go there now and check out the room. It is a come and go as you see fit, so you don't have to stay the entire time. But I have found that with Prince fans, when we get together, it is very hard for us to kind of come and go. Because once you start down that path of sharing your favorite song, your favorite memory, the first album you purchased, the first concert you went to, being part of the NPG club, NPG music club, you kind of like everybody just gets into a different spot and it's just moving. And you've got the music. Some of us go deep into the lyrics and do all the, the why did he create this, so on and so forth. So if you're available, I'm going to invite you guys to come. It's just going to be fun. And hey, speaking of, shout out to Richard. Oh, the creator and founder of Go Brunch. You know what, Richard, we're going to have you come on. We have to find a day and time to have you share your genius behind Go Brunch. Definitely a life-changing, don't want to say software, right? Software? But just in terms of being able to do virtual classes, webinars, create communities, get with like-minded people, it has been the best. It's where I spend a good chunk of my time. Not gonna even lie about it. I spent a good chunk of my time in someone's Go Brunch space, if not my own. So that's how great it is. And we also want to shout out, Tanya is here. Good evening to you, ma'am. Good evening. And yes, okay, so Tanya will be there. Yeah, I'm excited. I still have a few more songs I want to upload, right? Because I want to create a mix. I have a good mix of some things from his first album, the 80s, you know what I'm saying? When he went through his phase, I shouldn't say phase, because it's not a phase. Like the man was fighting for his artistic rights, right? So when he was a slave, okay? And then we have all the other stuff, because he produced a lot of music that if you wanted it, you had to buy it from him. Which at that time, people thought, why is he doing that? I don't understand. And now we understand the importance of owning your masters, of owning your music. We have plenty of content creators now fighting for their content and to be paid appropriately. So now we understand he was already doing he was doing the work. He was doing the work. So it's going to be a good one if I can get all the music. Oh, great. You know what? We're going to get this figured out, Richard. We're going to get this figured out because I believe there are a lot more people who could benefit from a Go Brunch community. Like it could truly extend their brand presence and also the customer's experience overall, right? Nothing against, the Zooms and the Teams and any other virtual space, but there's something, I'm going to say something missing. It could be stronger. I have found that, humans being visual animals, being able to be in the space that it reminds you of something the beach, a club, a wine bar, the classroom, it brings a different feel when you have that space to work in or to chat with other people. So like I said, when I had a chance to make a space dedicated to Prince and his music, trust me, I was all in. I was like, we have to get everything together. Now we are still waiting for, I guess, I don't know if maybe I should make sure things are good. Hold on here, people. Let me see. Let me make sure that everything is working well. And I will also, full disclosure, my doorbell is ringing because Gwendolyn has a case of wine being delivered today. And something said, Gwendolyn, this case of wine is going to be delivered during your live. Like that's just Murphy's Law, right? And because it's wine, I had to sign for it. So lucky for me, as I'm listening, the husband is answering the door. So I don't have to stop my live and go get my case of wine at the door. But what can I tell you, right? These are the things that we're really concerned about. It's like, really, Gwendolyn? Do you need to know that? Yes. You need to know that. You need to know that we do have a case of wine that is being delivered. Okay, so we're still waiting for our guest here. I want to make sure things were good, but looks like everything's good. Just have to wait for her to get the link. Hold on. And sign herself in. Hold on here. Pardon. Oh, yes. Thank you, Tanya. The money is in the masters. There we go. Because I don't think people, well, we understand it now. Now we understand the importance of owning your content, owning your music, your poetry, your photography. We understand that now. And yes, priorities. I know. Well, it never fails. Like you always tell people, hey, be great if you can have it delivered between here and there. And then, of course, something said they are going to come just as soon as I go on the air. I'm so happy that he was able to be home a little early. Otherwise, I really would have stepped away to sign for it because we're not doing a redelivery. I mean, like, hey, that's just, don't really want to do that. But yeah, they're knocking at the door to everything. And I was like, okay, want to make sure I get my wine and everything is good and the wine fridge stays the way it is. So while we are waiting for our guest, I'm trying to see, I don't think there is, we're waiting for a message here. While we're waiting for our guest, if there are questions, I want you guys to go ahead and put them in the chat. You can put a Q in front of it so that we don't miss the question. Definitely want to have that there so that we make sure that our guest has every opportunity. Hold on here. Pardon me. Every opportunity to get the questions answered. Okay. All right. We'll wait there. We'll wait. But yeah, this is the life that we have, that we make sure things are good. We're planning for all the things. We're shopping through the internet because I could have easily gone to the wine store, but I don't know. If I have to deal with parking, I'd rather it just comes to the door. And I'm certain some of you have definitely taken advantage of the services of things coming to your door. And I do recall the first time I had alcohol delivered to my father. He was completely amazed by it. I was like, yes, Father, we're doing those kinds of things now. You no longer have to get in your car and travel across town. They will bring the whiskey and everything else to you. All you have to do is sign. So we do appreciate the fact that we've come a ways in terms of how we're living. And if I may, while we're waiting here, let me just take a sip. Hold on. Ooh. It's a lot of espresso in this espresso genie. Oh my goodness, a lot of espresso. If I may, when I think about how we work and how we live now, and when I read articles that still talk about how being remote kills innovation, how being remote doesn't help you create camaraderie, I'm going to say this really quick. That's baloney. It is baloney. I met Tanya through a Go Brunch space and a few others, as a matter of fact, through a Go Brunch space. And the amount of camaraderie and teamwork that we have never met in person. I'll say yes. I'm good for a road trip. We've never met in person yet. But having not met in person, but being able to work in this virtual space as colleagues, because we're solopreneurs, right? We're small business owners, but we get together as this virtual team, create content. We talked about copyright issues in Peggy space last week, but we're able to have these conversations in a community of people. And we're just as strong as any other team that would be meeting face-to-face 5 days a week. As a matter of fact, I believe we're even stronger. I do believe it because it's not forced. We are people who have come together with, I'll say, like values, and we have a genuine want to support other people. And we are just literally pouring into each other. We had a great chat this morning. The month is almost over, just in case you guys didn't know. April 15th was yesterday, right? We're on the other side of that now. So now we're on the side of half the month is gone. The second quarter just started. Okay. I don't know where those first 2 weeks, but I don't know where they went. I can't tell you. I'm sitting here thinking, did I get everything that I was supposed to get done? But the month isn't over yet, but you find yourself saying, where's the time going? Right? So we had a conversation, just free flowing, where we are sharing some of our wins. We're sharing advice to keep us going to finish this month strong. And everybody is sharing freely and being celebrated. There isn't this deal of, oh, well, I don't want to share anything because so-and-so. No, that's the beauty of real community and finding people to hold you accountable and to work with, even as a solopreneur. And I know a lot of people as entrepreneurs, small business owners, believe that you have to do this by yourself. You do not. You don't have to do this by yourself. You can just easily find a really good group of people to work with. And let me see. Yeah. You can find people to work with, and you can go so much farther together versus trying to do this by yourself. And even if you've been burned, because we've all had some relationships with other people that probably haven't gone very well, it doesn't mean that there's someone else out there who's that kind of person. There are good people out here in the world. As Tanya says, I thought the drive-up liquor store was innovative. Yes, they have them here in the Dallas-Fort Worth area too. I thought, when I first saw it, I thought, really? You can just drive up and actually get something to drink? Okay. But now we have it at our fingertips. It just makes sense. At this point, the fact that we have a lot of things, and for those of us who remember the .com boom and then crash, there were people who were suggesting that we have groceries delivered. They were just too ahead of their time. And sometimes that happens, right? You have a really good idea, but you're too ahead of the game and people aren't ready for what you're trying to do. And so you say to yourself, is it going to struggle? Am I going to survive? It depends. It really depends. So a lot of those .coms, well, yeah, they are the way of the dodo bird. But fast forward, and here we are, where you're getting your McDonald's delivered, your Popeyes, your notepads, your pens, your liquor, your body lotion. We just live differently. So when it comes to work, I don't understand why we are, okay, take it back. I don't understand, yet I also understand. I don't understand the fight for us to maintain an old way of working. It's like an old way of learning. Like it took forever for some people to even bring on an online schooling and higher education, because it's like, well, you have to be here. Well, no, you don't. Like you don't. I mean, at the end of the day, some of these lectures, no, you don't have to be in person. Some people do function better when they are face-to-face, and we understand that. That's why if you don't have the mindset to manage your time and get stuff done and work by yourself, online learning isn't for you. The same way that some people function better working inside an office because they like to be around other people and they need that little extra zhuzh. I am a loner. I don't mind being by myself. I'm okay. And the work will get done. As a matter of fact, I could have sworn more people worked harder and were actually more productive when they worked at home. versus being at the office. Because at the office, we are going to sit around the cooler. We're going to BS. I mean, it's what I was doing when I was there. So, hey, surely I'm not the only one who did it. Tanya also says, so true. The bond is strong. Entrepreneurship can be lonely. And I am so blessed to be in a circle, such an amazing group of luminaries. That's the word you had this morning. Luminaries. Yes, I do remember that one. I'm going to add that to my vocabulary too. And shout out to our second partner, one of our other partners, Gary Jackson Jr. is here as well. Thank you, sir, for tuning in. I will bring you all up to date here. Our guest, I don't know if they're having some technical difficulties, but she is not here yet. So we'll give her some more time to see if we can work out all the kinks. But technology is technology. That's how I see it. It never fails. Absolutely never fails. I always say, look, when I was teaching my classes and I had my team, we would make plan A, B, C, D, and E. Because something would happen. It never fails. You can practice 1,000 times. And the day you're supposed to go live and teach this class and do whatever else, the computer doesn't want to work, someone's password isn't connecting, this system is down. Like all the things happen. All the things happen. And what you do is you just roll with it, because you're going to have to roll with it and figure out, okay, well, since we don't have any internet, and it's not coming up anytime soon, let me do day 3 now, and then I'll come back to day 1, because I don't have to do them together. I mean, day 3 is not impacted by day 1. Let me go ahead and do day 3. So what I'm not going to do is send them home. Like, we need to take advantage of this time while we have them. So yeah, gotta do that. Shining your light on others. Oh, you're so sweet. Thank you, Tanya. Appreciate that. Yes, tech will be teching. That's the world we're living in. And I will say this, being hardwired, I know for myself has made all the difference, because when I was using Wi-Fi, as great as it is, it can be a hindrance when it can't get all the information shared quickly, right? So I learned I need to be hardwired. And when you're streaming, I highly suggest it. Being hardwired is the way to go. Just to let you guys know how we do it. I literally have 3 cords running in here because I'm always moving the laptop around and where I record. So we take it all over the place. Could we be wireless? Yes, we could be, but we don't have to be. Hey, it looks like our tech may be working out. Are you ready? She's like, yeah. Are you ready? Yeah. Okay. All right, hold on here. Let me get myself together. Hold on, man. I'm telling you guys, if the good Lord lets me get this voice thing together, I may just put out an album next year. I'm just going to put it out there for you. Just when you think Gwendolyn can't do all the things, I am going to do all the things, because that's what I do. Let's see here. Let's bring her in. Hello, Jha, how are you?
I'm making it happen. Hello.
She said, I'm making it happen. All right, now, I just want you to know how I'm feeling this evening. Okay, right? I'm sipping on an espresso teeny, right? Because, I was zipping and zagging down the College Station yesterday, had to see my grandbaby, and I'm feeling it. Now, there was a time where I could get on 45 South and do some stuff and come right back. That time has passed me. I am realizing that now. But until then, we will keep it going. So I just want you to know I am here, and then I am here.
Okay. I'm ready.
Now, before we get started, Jha, what we do here is we do what's called a fast 5. All right. Now, it really isn't that fast. I'm just going to tell you that. It just says it. But we're going to ask you 5 questions, and you get to choose either or. Sound good? And crowd, feel free to participate if you wish, because we love to know what you guys think too. All right. So first one, beach or lake?
Beach.
Beach. So you like the warm waters?
Yeah, and I got
like the sun, anything? Is there any favorite place, like in terms of vacation, that you always go to?
No, it's no particular place, but as long as it's beach, I'm fishing.
All right. Does that include Galveston?
Yeah, who's got us? It's done. It's done. Sometimes it's just the energy, the vibes, the ocean, the feeling. I was thinking about the sand, so it's still like, somewhere to be. I don't really do much of all of this. You got to get like anything like that, but something like right down the screen is.
I asked because I remember my first trip to Florida for business. I had a chance to go down to Clearwater. And I was like, is this really the same Gulf of Mexico? Like, this is like night and day. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it can't be. Yeah.
It can be. All right, here we go. Number 2, phone call or text?
Depends on the person.
All right, explain that one, please. Share.
Depends on the person. You know how it is. Some people, it's just they're better or it's like quick text. Like, the conversation can go either way when it's thrown off. It's going to be a bit longer. I need to really explain myself and really explain what I'm trying to say. We're going to go find off. And if it's the things are true, yeah, I'm not big on texting. To like long paragraphs, because that's, message, voice, and script. And it takes all the time, to gotta reread it about 10 times to really make sure you got it set. So I'm horrible phone call.
I agree with that. I have some friends, like we do, I want to say really just 3. 2.5 to 3 text are like, okay, pick up the phone. Because it's too much work. It's too much work.
Yeah, it's like the older outside or
I right there with you. Right there. All right. Let's talk about this. In-person or virtual events?
Oh, in person, sure. That's
good.
Yeah, in person.
I'm 50. I like them both. I have to be in, I will say, because, I'm that introvert with extrovert tendencies. I got to be in the mood for the whole in-person thing, Sometimes I'm like ripe and ready. Other times I'm like, not today, Satan. Just no. I'm going to go ahead and call it what it is. All right, here's one. Dallas Cowboys and Houston Texans.
Texas. Why?
Now, I will say this. I think people recognize that I'm just not a fan of Dallas. In any sense of the word, it is what it is. It's okay.
Listen, Cleveland.
And now this one is slightly controversial for those who understand, but are you north side, south side?
Oh, south side. Oh. Oh.
Now, for those who don't...
Nothing open door.
No. Now, Jha, you are a native Houstonian, yes?
Yes. Born and raised.
And in Houston, and Jha had a post that just really brought back some memories for me. But Houston is a extremely large city. Never visited, never had to drive through. You won't get it until you are in it. And there is the south side of Houston, and there is the north side of Houston. And even though you're in the same city, seeing your family, your friends on the north side is a trip. It's a job, right? Now, when I was in school, people on the north side were kind of janky. I still believe that. I'm gonna stick to it.
It's always been that connotation about the north side. It's like, nobody on the north.
There is something different about people on the north side. There is something that's just not quite right. I can't explain it, but they are some kind of special over there. So I'm gonna go ahead and stick with that. It's just what it is. So, hey, before we move forward, hey, shout out to Dr. Tachi, who is in the building. And we're going to say it again, and shout out. And a huge congrats to Dr. Tachi with Indie Soup Media. Man, It's really hard because there's great content going on over there right now, but I'm live over here, so I have to catch the replay. But if you've not subscribed to Indie Stoop Media, I am telling you, you guys need to go ahead and get up on that because it is going down over there. But I want to go with this. Miss Jha, tell us, who are you and what is your superpower?
Oh, Jha, here, like you said, I'm here for East born and raised. I'm actually, I want to do the hard. I'm a digital marketer by trade. Profession. I train business owners on how they can grow their digital presence using various strategies. I would say that's my superpower as well. I found that a lot of the business owners that gravitate here that I work with on work basis nowadays, those business owners that were left behind. Here, the business owners have put up here to see if they've been in business for a few years and making later. Now things are going on right. It's their time to take how technology and people work. I found that they appreciate someone like myself because I'm able to slow it down, how they can get in any type of way. Presentation, like how they can take advantage no matter whatever level that they might be at. So I feel like that's my superpower.
Sweet. And I do know this. I follow Jha on Instagram, and there is a very personable nature to the content that you share. It's very down to earth, easy to digest. And it also makes really good sense because people, like there was one you talked about digital marketing and that they're not one size fits all. I mean, as a photographer, people think you take pictures. Like I do not take pictures. One, but two, I don't do Florence. I don't do weddings. Like, we don't do all of the same thing. So you really have to figure out what you're looking for and if that person does provide what you are seeking.
God, definitely. For a long time, I kind of run away from what I'm doing now because personally, I am a digital artist. I always feel like, well, everyone knows that or that's basic. And I think a lot of people go through that where you be like, oh, this is basic, but I'm like, no. You'll be surprised how many people do not know this information and they appreciate somebody like yourself that can just make it it's like ABC, it's like this is what you need. I think a lot of times digital marketers make it complicated, sometimes on purpose and sometimes on accident, where they lose people. They talk about this marketing language, they're talking about all these things, and sometimes it's no shade to anybody in the marketing industry. By no means at all, but sometimes it's not needed. For most business owners, they don't need all this stuff that sometimes a marketer might be talking about, like, oh, you need to come up with this, and all these things. It's like, they just need to send an email consistently. Like, they don't even send emails consistently. You're trying to teach them how to do all of this, and it's like, it doesn't work. So, I try to keep this basic as possible. I realize that people appreciate that.
I will say, I will second that. I was chatting with some friends last year as they were looking for a digital marketer. And when I've read what they were doing, it does come across as, I don't believe it was intentional, but it kind of felt slightly, because you put in all this jargon and it's like, you could just say, I'm going to do this and this, and it's going to cost you this much money. It could be that easy. Versus, because he's like, I don't understand what I'm reading. Can you decipher? It's like, yeah, sure. Blah, 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 blah. And he's like, oh, yeah. So I don't know if it's on purpose to sort of say, I'm charging you all this money, or is it because you don't know how to communicate? I'm not really sure.
From both sides, I would say sometimes it might be a little bit of both, like you said, but I think the only reason I like to believe some marketers do that is because sometimes if you make it seem like, hey, easy, people feel as if it's that easy. So they don't understand sometimes why you're charging that much. I understand. That's like, for example, monitoring social media. When you just monitor social media, people now take that to, $200, I can get somebody on Fiverr, Upwork to do that, blah, blah, blah. It's not that much. Well, you look on somebody's social media and looking for growth, especially if they're in a product-based industry where their business is on social media. Monitoring social media means a lot for them, and it's like come out of pretty penny. But again, when you just acknowledge the social media, some people that might be easy, like, oh, let me just click your video. It's like, oh, birth point is a lot more than just a videos. I think from a marketing perspective, sometimes they do that because they want, yes, to seem like they will about the followers. I don't think you say, oh, volunteers, and there's going to be $1,500. Sometimes that they say, wait, why is it that much? I realize all of what it takes to record content, post content consistently, and then have it created, all these things. So I think it's a valid sort of side.
You know, as a photographer, when people call and say, well, it's just a headshot, it's like, ma'am, not today, ma'am. Because if it's just a headshot, if it's just the gap, it's not the gown, it's like,
right. Yeah, exactly. They don't understand. So sometimes you gotta give them a lot of charging, so just make them feel better about the price. Or it's like, no, you just don't get it. I guess most people are creators. They don't get it.
That is true. That part is true. Before we get into your 5 tips for effective digital marketing, tell us about Endless 8 marketing, would you please?
Yeah, for sure. So we started out initially July 2018. We're coming up on 2 years actually. And what else was a marketing where, we're doing website design, content strategy, social media management. I learned how to do various aspects of digital marketing. So first, as digital marketing, at first, I was not proud of one, but it didn't make a lot of sense. It did, but that don't make a lot of sense. Like why you're doing it, it's like, because I always tell when there's certain things where people specialize in this, specialize in that, which I can see why that can be true, but now that I started out in a way where I'm able to focus on aspects of marketing as I've grown and now I've developed my team, one, and I understand what goes into all the work that you're doing from that aspect, so that's helped out a lot. But also, two, it's allowed me personally to things in marketing 2.0, which is the training aspects. So a large part of our business over the last 15 months, 18 months, has been training. So I go inside various organizations here, community locally, out of the outskirts, and I train. I train within small business development centers and outlet resources or business owners. I train within several women business groups and things of that nature. I train within different schools, community college. I train at Prairie View University. Now, if we did, I train students, faculty, or the staff on various aspects of digital marketing. So going back to learning all these aspects, it makes sense now to where I'm able to. That's one of my unique propositions as a trainer. And I found that out earlier this year, where most people, when they come in, they can say, well, I can train. They might have one presentation. Like myself, I have about 2 presentations. So I have one on LinkedIn, I have one on Instagram, I have one on just digital marketing as a whole and how you monitor your digital marketing presence. So I'm able to have various different presentations, again, because I started out as a marketing agency that did and it gave. So now people are about this focus on training and consulting with business owners and organizations.
Sweet. And what's interesting as we shout out our fellow guest, I should say, community, David is in the building. He says, yes, all the behind the scenes people don't always. I tell people the moment you put just into your mouth, you are attempting to minimize the work that somebody does. I advise you not to do it. Okay? Because if it was so easy, you wouldn't be reaching out to a professional.
That's true. I think people don't realize I need to see sometimes I'm nice to us. Just nowadays, I'm pretty good at what I'm studying. So I always stop myself once or even oh man, people say little, I don't think all the time people are saying little on purpose. I want people that try to feel like people are good people to a certain extent. So I think sometimes it's just a cultural thing. I see you little, it's just something you just talking, but because I even kind of catch myself to a certain extent, but I always, that's what I'm saying, so I'm always good at stopping myself, talk. About it here. So I think sometimes it's just you're just talking. You just but this one feels oh man, but That's some little, how many spells they sneak. It could be like they minimize the time, give them a little break to see if they're able to catch themselves. They, I'm down to be graceful. I'm really saying, it's myself like, well, I'm like, not just, well, what I'm trying to say is, like, it's really, get it down.
We're all in the same boat. I am like you. I do listen to myself. We talk about not using try, not using should, or need, but middle is one of those. And trust your gut. There are some people that when the energy is just, they're like, oh, I see your little show on TV. It's like,
yeah, it's like, yeah, no, I'm
okay. We trying to be shady this evening. All right. Well, we could match energy, but we're not going to do that. We're not going to do it. So let's do this. Tell us, you have for us 5 tips for effective digital marketing. And I will say the majority of the people in this crowd who's going to watch now and in the future in the replay happen to be solopreneurs, small business leaders, entrepreneurs, and in other industries. So what's your number 1 tip?
I would say my first tip is you have to figure out what are the digital marketing aspects that work for your business. So you have a plan. That's the biggest thing. So we have to figure out before we even start digital marketing, what is our plan? And I'm meaning what mediums are you going to? We are using the mediums. What are our expectations from these mediums? Like I tell people, sometimes service-based business, social media is a good place for you, but it might be more of a brand awareness place instead of a driving sales type place where it would be somebody that's selling a low-cost product. So just really understanding the different mediums that we're using as it relates to the market and having a plan before we just start doing lights. Because sometimes you might put a lot of emphasis on, let's say, TikTok. It's like, well, TikTok's not where your friends really at. You need to have a quick TikTok list every now and then, but maybe somewhere where you got to mad at yourself because you didn't post, for that day, so it's one of those type of things that if y'all plan, what you spend most of.
If I may go there really quick, and I'm going to try not to go down these rabbit holes.
Okay.
But because I can quickly go down a rabbit hole. But I do believe it is important to stress, as you mentioned, what medium you want to use and what your plan is. Because if you just get caught up in looking at is shared on TV, on some social platform, people will have the idea that they need to be everywhere for everybody. And the fact of the matter is, as you mentioned, if your customer's not on TikTok, why are you there?
Right.
Why put in energy there? Or why give into the idea of, I have to do Snapchat and I have to do this? Is like, but do you? Is that part of your overall strategy? Like, it's good to know exactly where you want to go and why you're using what you're using.
So it is, and I think a lot of times, especially most of the people I work with, I study space, even very rare ever. We work in commerce at this stage of our business. We really specialize in service-based business. And what I noticed working with service-based businesses is a great majority of them. Two things. First thing is social media sometimes is a brand awareness place for them. And another thing about service-based businesses is we're not selling a product that somebody needs to these years. Your turnaround social media takes off. So if somebody is on there and it depends on the service, because what I think about it, I'm like, well, let's say even a lash tip. Let's say you got a lash tip and they're twisting. I'll get big turnaround. Nowadays, hear about when they go to their lashes. And like all these they actually make the quick. We get something like that now because I'm talking thinking maybe this me that was adequate, but if you're in a service-based business, typically most service-based business takes longer for the customer who sets than it does for somebody that's selling a product like that's a finished and something of that nature. Sometimes it takes about the same amount of time, but it's just to grab some time for somebody that's selling a product, somebody can purchase, have, and get, especially for the low-cost product, like let's say $25 or something. They're willing to spend versus, let's say, your massage therapist. They can see your post for about 4 months where they actually make a actual purchase from you. So when you think about digital marketing, and as I'm working in service-based businesses, people get in touch. And I have noticed that for a lot of them, social media is our present space, but we have to have other mediums on because if we're waiting on, customers to come through social media, it's going to take us a minute. It's like a minute. Most of the stuff that gets the products not even low cost. So when I even mention the elastic, I would have or cost of $100. It's like, so it's not even, even we get something like that where you just think, oh, that's fair, but it's like that cost. And even nails, it was like rest a lot, or so. It's not too many services that are just low cost with like, oh, I'm fully dated people.
Yeah,
really. And as it is, these things.
Yeah. We were talking with in our accountability group that, and I remember, I'm sure the number has changed now, but it was always said that a person needs to see your ad or what have you 7 to 8 times. Well, you're going to start to recognize it. So there's so much, in my opinion, so much noise now. I'm like, they got to see like maybe 10, 12, 16 times before they actually act on it because there's just so much going on.
And supposedly it's to where somebody has to speak before they do it. I heard, like 11, 12 times, but that can go either way.
Yeah, I believe that. All right, number one, people, know your mediums, have a plan. What's your second tip?
I would say just not just having a plan and knowing where you want to go. You also want to make sure that everything that you're putting into play is feasible based on the capacity that you currently have. Because sometimes we can take a plan or have a plan, and I'm taking my business on like this now, where before I give you a marketing strategy that works in a one-on-one, the thing that company just actually only make a plan for you, and it's pointing to you, but I'm basing this plan on your capacity. Do you have a team that actually is in place that want to help? Is it just we have the capacity to create key? What is your capacity? How many dollars a week you have to controlling your business based on this plan? So after that's number one, the capacity is the action plan if you're working a week, but you get to do this later on. What's the plan that's going to do that based on the plan that you have? What the capacity be? Do I need to hire somebody that part-time freelance to actually help me hit the goals? Because it's one thing to have a plan, but if your capacity is not there with that plan, then the plan won't work.
We were talking. We were chatting. Was it this morning? I don't know. I think it was this morning. No, it was a few months ago. No, maybe a few weeks. It doesn't matter. Time is time. I will say this. There was a conversation held. She was like, get it together, G-Day. Okay, there was a conversation held, and I was sharing with your friends who was working on some content. I said, look, if you need some help, I am here to help out any way I can, right? Because there is a place where, as an entrepreneur, we often do tend to work in silos and work alone. I understand is not everybody has a community or a set of friends who are willing to assist in creating content. And I do recall telling you that I have, because you were talking about just get started, post that video, get it out there. And I was like, okay, so I have the videos, but I don't know why I can't seem to post them all. And then I create new content. Now, I will say this. I am still using all of my content. I don't believe in any content being left behind. It's going to get out. It may be a year later, but dadgummit, I set it free. And it's still on time, you know what I'm saying? But that part about capacity, it is, I can see where it should be number one. It could probably tie, because a lot of us, some of us, want to do all things. Hello, Virgo. How are you? I'm good. Some of us want to do all the things, and we go ham. And then there are others that I can't even get the one because either I'm doing all this other stuff or I have the full-time job and I'm building my small business. So just recognizing what you're available to truly tackle. That's going to save you some stress. I have to definitely say I agree with number 2. That's a good one. Because it can get out of pocket really fast.
That I don't think people think about it. But typically are thinking about possibly that big. take a lot into not just this course. You're not you are showing it are the other working marketing industry. Was like all this sounds good, this sounds cool, but we have days where we just don't want to do it, or we just can't do it. It's well, it's not it. I have days like that where I'm just so mad at myself that I was afraid like there's no way you were gonna get. It's like there's no way possible. Go on,
Yeah.
it's something that we're keeping out.
That was me today. I was like, I'm here and I'm fighting sleep and I'm 5 steps from going to take this nap because I just need to take the nap. But I get it. Like I said, I recorded 5 more videos on Sunday.
But you got them. And I teach someone like too, like sometimes just like you're doing. You have to record, don't you gotta post content. You know, because that week when you feeling powerful, okay, you know, you got the content already. I have to do it.
Oh, I got some content, Jha. I got it this morning. Like I said, I have a year and a half of waiting. It's gonna get there. It will definitely get there. And I want to say, David says, yes, ask for help. That is true. If you have a great circle of people around you, they will more than happy. I'm just speaking for my group because I got some good people. They will more than happy to help you out any way possible. But you know, you got to get around the right people. Hey, shout out to 𝐃 who is in here. Blessed and tenacious Tuesday to you too, ma'am. Gary says, glad you took the nap. Actually, I did not, sir. I did not take that nap. I'm not even going to lie like that. It was in the plan. The plan didn't happen. That's why I'm drinking this espresso martini. Yes, there was not a nap involved. And just, what can I tell you? It's going to work out eventually, though. And 𝐃 also says, true, ask for help. Has to be the right help and someone that gets it. I agree with that too. Drew, what's your third tip? What do you have for us?
I would say, okay, you're making the plan. We're actually taking our capacity and saying what is feasible to get it done. Another thing that most business owners, and it's hard, or staying up to date. So a lot of people have been talking about lazy paths and trigger wide up to AI, but it's not just getting with AI. Just staying up to date. And these are the documents to order from. Well, that could be down, but staying up to date on what's happening and how can this help the business grow. So big talk is AI and all things AI can do. It's taking one software at a time. They're going to get overwhelmed by trying to use all of them, but figuring out what's the new thing, staying up to date, because at the core, you guys stay on here with the competition. That's the biggest thing. Just staying up to date on what's happening in the marketing realm is very helpful. It doesn't take, sometimes you have in a marketing alternate strategy and with some, and it plugged into get all channels that are putting out marketing news. That's how I stay up to date. Marketing news and just feeding myself what's happening on different newsletters and email lists. And that's how I stay up to date. Pretty what's going on to
Sweet. Hey, since we're here, we're talking about that. I'm gonna dive down a quick rabbit hole for the crowd. How many of you are currently using AI in some capacity for what you do? Because I know as a photographer, people are like, "Oh my God, AI is gonna take our jobs." Cut it out. Stop. Okay, stop. Can AI create some stuff? Yes, it can. But what we do, I know what I do. AI software cannot duplicate that. It can't do that. Now, do I leverage AI in my business? Yes, I most certainly do. I sure do. And people have said that AI isn't going to replace us, but those who choose not to leverage it in their business may miss out. Yeah, they may very well miss out. So have you found the people you're working with have some hesitation, or are they concerned about AI, or is it truly they're not aware of just how much it can save them time and enhance their customers' experience?
I think it's a mix, depending on the person. Like, depending on the person, you have some that are scared, you have some that are just not aware. Okay, that you have those that aren't taking advantage of. So the thing on first here, there's up where they're at. It kind of depends on if they're actually seeing it for that booster. So been within marketing now, I help those stuff that didn't just look like it. If you ever looked at a computer, it's hopeful for, they're always, it's diving work. Level based commercial, sorry, deals. It's the
Yeah, I know. A friend, was it Gary? You and I met a gentleman who, if I can get Paul to come on here. Paul has AI bots. Like, is it 3 or 4 of them, Gary, that are writing for him? And sometimes, if he asks them to, they go into discussions about individual topics. And I was like, wait, what? Like, he on some other level, right? Some whole other level. But when I said, I was like, okay, how do I get this into my business? How do I do that? So everybody's in a different place when it comes to it. But when you start to see, because so far, I don't know if you see, but it appears that when people write about AI, they always write about what it takes away versus how it can enhance. And it just seems like they're going more with the fear factor side of it versus saying, here's how AI can do blah, blah, blah for you and your business, your job, your life, right? Everything has been...
I'm still big. My focus are on Instagram. Yeah, what's kind of Mr. Race kind of stand up. He's always talking about it's AI, it's what it do. I think some people talk about the script. Most people that aren't great by it usually make those type of videos. I remember he made a video recently that was talking about like use AI to get a certain type of student. And I was reading the comments and just seeing how many that you are curious with this post because they're like, this is never Facebook, you never Facebook, get a tattoo artist. Why are you get to, most of the time people are talking about grit or they have a political commentary around it. That feel driven by it. I was also watching but I made a post for the peers enough this that post was like if you are teaching over the AI will essentially say what you have wrong. So that's the thing. They live in the stage now where you just think if that's what the AI is not like. But the AI is it's the Mondays or the things that are simple to get done at this point, difficult to listen. So if you are mediocre or if you want straightforward or producing this speaking closer, then it can potentially take over that trust.
Completely, because if you are delivering a great product, staying up, as you say, staying up to date, all you have to do is learn how to leverage it. So yet Gary says, two that talk back and forth. Yes. And he is the tiebreaker. I know when I say insane. We're going to have to definitely get him to share. David said he uses Magic Write, is limited, but it helps us out of Canva. Right. And Gary's also saying, yeah, the fact that this guy, his smart house it's a genius house because it's doing some stuff that I didn't even know you could create bots to do. Yeah, very interesting. He also says AI written in Canva. Gary says he uses AI as well. About to get another tool by the end of tomorrow, or I hope you're not addicted. He has discovered AppSumo. Okay. We know what happens when people can AppSumo. Don't be scared to learn. Yes. Cass also talks about getting wait a minute, let me go this first. Would you suggest any automated systems along with AI or apps? Since we're talking about it, what are your thoughts? Would you suggest any automated systems? I mean, I know how I feel about automation.
I don't personally, only because my business is so personable, I don't use any automated systems because I have a very personable business, and I like it heavily. So, I would say AI, honest AI systems, they are to a certain extent automated systems. So it is kind of saying English can be looked at as the same thing AI, or rather, a AI tool can be looked at as automated. fiction. So they're the same folk. And I'm like recommend any tools, no necessarily, but there's these new platforms. One is called it's a couple of them, but I know it's off the top of my name. One's called Top App, Top AP, it's there's Top Apps, .ai, and it goes to an AI directory. So these are just AI directories where, and this is what I get as far as I don't recommend necessarily getting AI tips, but it's two different directories that I found on maybe four that they have a directory of thousands of AI tools. So kind of like I believe it's name is Gary, able to download as many as you as many as you like, because everybody's business is different. So I don't necessarily vouch for if you want specifically, but I do give out topapps.ai and .ai that have thousands of AI tools, and if people want to based on like what you need. So if you need like assistant, if you look at automation, if you're looking for project management, they kind of got segmented there, and there's different options, and you're able to knowledgeable.
That makes sense. I think I shouldn't say I think. I do believe when people talk about different software, what have you, we are not one size fits all, right? So what works best for one person may not work best for you. It could be too much or it may not be enough. So very good point on that one. Tanya says she uses AI and she leverage is the word. Just use it as a tool, not a crutch. And yes, lawyers use AI. What? Are you sharing the secrets, ma'am? You're sharing the secrets. David said computers are going to replace us. Okay, so let me say this. I'm happy. I love this discussion. I really do. Because I've always told my team when I was training that these are just tools, right? And I use how we get around. Like you have 2 feet. So if your car breaks down, you can always just walk to work. You take the bus to work.
Right.
You could take the bike. It's still another way to get to work. You could take an Uber or a Lyft now, right? It's still a tool to get to work. But that doesn't mean because your car broke down that you can't get to work.
Right.
There is still. We used to talk about, because I worked in retail, and it was one of the VP. She said, look, if you only have to have one register open, you can still open the store with or without power. Why? Because we have calculators or we have digits to count money, to add, right? It doesn't stop you from opening the store. So we're using these tools daily, our phone, those like any kind of editing software, your computer, whatever you put in, it spits out. So if you put in some bad info, you get some bad stuff coming out. It's just a tool. It is just a tool. But I don't see these tools replacing us. I don't see it. I will say this though, because somebody owes me still. If I can get that George Jetson kitchen, trust, I don't care. I want to take a little bit of something, throw it into a pot, put it in this little fancy microwave, get a whole meal in like 5 minutes. I am down for that. I'm still waiting on that. That's new technology. All this other stuff, I don't know. That I'm okay with. But I don't see any of these tools replacing humanity. I don't see it. Because it's just a tool. That's just... Let me get off my soapbox. Let me put it away. So AppSumo is the drug. Thank you, as he scratches his neck. And Cass says, thank you for those suggestions. Gary also says that it's great advice. And David's like, it's a new way to navigate. It is. It has always been a new way to navigate. People talked about when the internet came, that catalogs would go away. It was false. There is actually an uptick in catalog. Why? Because your human eyes can't look at that screen for a very long time. It is tiring, right? People still want to take something physical and fold pages and circle things. Can't explain the habit. It is still there.
So myself, I'm even big on people like some, you don't have a digital card. And I was thinking earlier, I'm like, I guess I'll go ahead and create one. I'm not really big on digital cards. Once I save your number in my phone, I'm not going to computer again. So I am very big still on physical cards, but I haven't just quite broken. Remember you for my the conversation of digital part, like and I stayed with perhaps without where the data is ready to conflict it are just driving because I'm always big on get type situation. Okay, you know, like, still.
Now, Ja, are you telling me that somewhere secretly you have a Rolodex? Is that what you're saying?
I have something similar, yes.
She's like, yes, I do. And it may make a comeback. It may very well. Tanya says, not all doom and gloom. Be careful what you use, of course, but it's an enhancement tool. People screaming about AI, relying on Google like gospel. Pull out your encyclopedia then. Hey, I'm not going to say, but I still have a couple of our encyclopedias. You like a lot. And I think it's more for nostalgia.
Yeah. It's nostalgic.
But what can I tell you, right? Like, them encyclopedias were hard back in the day. So, hey. All right. So that was what, 3? Was that 3 tips?
Yes,
yeah.
very good.
That was 3. All right. Number 4. What do you have for us, ma'am?
Make sure you're paying attention, and this AI can probably help you with this. Make sure you're paying attention to your analytics. I just goes back to the plate. So if you're not really looking at what's working, or tracking what's working, then it's hard to deal with it. Or probably might do something and we might not see a result for that long. But we're tracking that last month after what brought in most of our leads. It might just be a slow burn. It might just be a outcome. We may stop doing something that we're doing in the past and focus that out. So make sure you're touched. If you're tracking and keeping up with the analytics, and then there's several AI tools that analyze data. Doing these results throughout the world that have your will always go back and say, what's the last 5 customers come? Where the last 10 customers come? Where did they find? That words for to happen with this.
And I admit, I use my AI to get my numbers because after years of running reports, I don't want to do not another one. Yeah, I have no desires like, I'm going to throw these numbers in here, I'm going to let you do the job, and I'm going to be happy, and I'm okay with it. So, love that. All right, number 5.
But this was, it's not necessarily an issue of marketing, but it's just a part of what has been. That's marketing is get about, which is both get about the girls. Although I am a digital marketer, I'm still heavy on networking. I'm still heavy on girls, and I'm kind of how just limit people last points. I think about where did I last time I was at least 3 of them came from referrals. Somebody out there a little bit. I might see that event. It did have to follow social media. For now, see, there is my photo, so to speak, of being my content. See what I'm doing, kind of stay top of mind. So that would be my last advice. Also, on the biggest one, don't forget about the traditional aspect of marketing, especially while the service business and you guys got to know. You're just relying on digital marketing. They're not so competitive. Like, you up now, I know, I need to make concentrate list that. Don't forget about actually this arrows network. Treating people are like, hey, I don't like what's love. Nowadays, make sure you're inside. It's extra the house of these. Another thing I do is you can keep everybody that's on honest talking the things of your place like they while you're on the call, sticking their name, trying to find the one link and it's on what they said whenever it's like just finding those land still lip, even if it's not typically from something like a digital marketing, like an email or like they found me because they got the so it's like an advantage of that traditional marketing. And see it's networking.
I gotta say, I know I met Tanya through a virtual event, and I remember just this past week, I want to say, although she was not in the room yet, there was a person who was saying, hey, if you need someone to do this, Tanya's a great lawyer, da 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 da. And it's like, yeah, good old fashioned networking still works, right? People will look at reviews and what have you, but they also still trust their family and friends to say, hey, who did your so-and-so, or where'd you get that blah, blah, blah from? And they'll ask questions. And if it works well for that person, they will typically say, oh, then you should try so-and-so because XYZ and yada, yada, yada. That still works extremely well. So I love that as our number 5 tip, because networking is still there. You just, not that you can't talk to people. I mean, that I don't know how that works for business, but talking to people still works. It still works. I know I'm not influenced by the influencers. I am still word of mouth. I'm a word, but I'm also I'm old school. I'm old school, right?
Those are the people that that's the app. Someone that feels like someone else what about your business. You notice they don't go the whole, hard up, can I see this, can I see that, can I see this, or so house let's visit because so and so told me about you, they usually express you. It makes the spelling absolutely like smoother and choke.
Tanya says, "Oh, me too." On the you got encyclopedias. You're missing some letters, but they forgot. Oh, Ask Jeeves, yeah, and Google search was innovation and didn't take away from you having to know and do things for yourself. We forget, whenever something new comes on the scene and we start screaming like the sky is falling. It's like cut it out. I mean, I took typewriting class in high school. People. And then the word processor came out. And next thing we know, we had computers in a computer lab. And it was like, oh, okay. I don't even know if people know how to type. I mean, I think they do. Versus the whole pecking thing. I didn't go to the rabbit hole. I'm sorry. Lord bless. Let me get focused here, because but I know from this crowd, I'm not the only one who took typewriting class. So I'm gonna let y'all judge that as you see fit. Tell me this, Jha. For those who want to start a business, do you have any advice for them? Because at the moment, everybody, it appears, is attracted to the life of the entrepreneur. And if you look at social media, we're out here on our yachts opening up bottles of Cristal every day. But those of us who really know, that is just not the case. What advice do you have?
It's something that if you want to do, you just have to prepare for it. Prepare to the best of your abilities, and if you can, for any reason, have a job. It's kind of, let's say, pull up a good job. That's what things tag things for you. Don't be so fast. Just don't leave it. I would say sometimes, or something gets the way of doing things, whatever. It's good. Honestly, then all of a sudden, you get the job, and now it slows down. So it's like, just ensure while you are starting your business, prior to really just put them in full pledge, you need to be people. One of the things are going to drop it up. But also to understand that it's not very hard. It's very hard at times. Like we just had I speak upon everybody that gets on, and you having to file taxes, and depending on how big you want your business and what's your concentration, you having to pay tax, pay back, please get a whole tax. Like you have to now pay for your Social Security also. You have to pay for yourself. And it's like you're not for the person, but you pay for yourself because you are an employee. So it comes to be double taxed in that way. So depending on how big you for your business, and that's that usually don't think about, because you work for an employer, you still take it out of your check once, and it's all good, but your employer is also paying it as well. But you don't know what's paying it because you don't like this. Makes are ridiculous. So even just stick that when it comes to that, and just strike like where it's the part of started and honestly it whatever what makes time is have one as possible but these self full large and flip not it's hard it's entrepreneurs are entrepreneurs when they started this I never started. And I was like, they have a point. I can't explain how hard it was going to how like a book director. And it's like, oh, it's hard to read things. So yeah, hard for the get to how to always learn. Well, it's like often learn. If you're doing that in a high sense, we're glad you look with the full time today, look at things every single day. So you really don't have to stay on top. You don't gotta innovate. You don't have to be looking over your shoulder too much about things coming. You got to take the job, but these different levels when you come from a career aspect, they got to learn with business and they got to learn this. So you can get coming, but as an entrepreneur, sometimes it's hard to see the competition coming. Well, it's called you can just put it back in next week, find somebody that's now the competition. Learn what they come from. How did they, you can they coming. So it's like, you gotta always innovate. You gotta always be watching your back. But it's always something. It's not, we're not all in competition with each other, but it's a real fight. You have to be, because if not, you're gonna be one that's out of business. So yeah, you gotta afford to watch for you, but you gotta also be innovative to so they can find you. It's just hard, it's like, it's hard. But it's rewarding though, because once you do it, you're like, oh, I can do anything. It gives you empowerment, it gives you all these great things, make you feel good about yourself when it becomes a success. But it is something that you consistently work at. You work all day. Sometimes, people say work-life balance. The entrepreneur that you build, but when you first started your business, for the first years, I've known business owners that get decades. They make good money. They're still working all the time. They're still thinking about their future. Because one is something that they love to do, so that means like work. It's like it's very hard to just get away from it, but still go on without being like. So that's the advice I give you. You have to get prepared for it. That's why they get scared of your job, because you have money to be. When you don't have money and try to pay your bills, it's hard to stay mentally prepared.
Have a plan.
Yeah,
I think people
plan. You gotta have a legit plan. Not something that's like
plan.
Don't live on hope. Every miracles happen, and it's a blessing. Things happen to you that you're blessed about. And if you can run through life and have a legit plan that kind of like or logical mentality, but when your first getting into it, the folks be as logical as possible, it'll help stop a lot of things happening.
I think there was a person who was asking about that. I remember saying, use your full-time job as the launch pad to invest into your business, because you want to have a plan and work your way out of the full-time position and start moving towards this. But just jumping out, not that you can't do it. Personally, I'm not that kind of gambler. It's not how I'm built. So I'm with you. Like, have a plan and recognize too, as I look at some of these comments typing 101, 102, and 103. Man, I'm sitting here and thinking about going through that, and never mind. Let me stay focused. People don't understand, as you mentioned, that running your business, operating it, you are now a business leader. So it's not just, oh, I'm here and I got to do this. It's like, no, it's so much bigger than that. And if you don't have that financial and business acumen behind you, you need to get to it, because that's some serious stuff. As I paid my sales taxes the other day, and I saved all of 58 cents because I paid early. Thank you, State of Texas. That's what I'm talking about. That
my isn't that dude? So I was like, oh man, I always had to pay them like 50. I have another LLC. I mean, I pay them like $200, like $100 because I'm like, oh my god, I always want that money, but since doing May, and I was like, oh, okay, I need to go ahead and file that before it slips my mind, and I'm getting a list. And I'm like, I paid them, but a few times I do pay it on time, but those I have paid them a few times, $100.
Yes. I put it on my calendar the first time I forgot. I was like, what? Wait, what? How did I miss it? Yeah. I only had to miss it one time. I was like, and never again.
Okay, yeah, I'm glad you said that again. Now I can start to go in. Yes,
That would hurt. Gary says, love that you told the good and the bad of it all. Yes. John is not out on her yacht just sipping Cristal, y'all. She's working. She's really working. So as we wrap this up,
not yet. Not so bad.
She said not yet. What's in the future for you and your business?
To be honest, the more and more we're turning it into just training. We're feeling like that's where we're led at. That's where all of that. That's where people need the most help. And also, like I alluded to earlier, we're staying ahead of the trend. Although AI will not you can stop, unfortunately, for kids with markets, it does. And the water cut. But pull up that so how does and except for the creativity, yes, creative, but a lot of digital marketers aren't just been creative. So that's a whole nother thing. But we're just moving into something that it can't be where it won't be able to train. It won't be able to have a personality. It won't be able to talk. It won't be able to won't have pick the people. All these things that are human, like we're taking advantage of that direction because building our websites, creating content, those things is not now, but we have to stay at the next 5 years. Those will be very, so to speak, scared paid for it to get fluid. If you don't want to take, a $40 off day variance, and it's explain why you can hire us. So you can't hire somebody that will actually a target and ended up with just that. That's not here yet. Hopefully not my lifestyle. So you have to hire robots around. So it'll work out first.
Well, I don't want any robots to take you out, but I am still looking for Rosie. Okay, I'm saying one more time. Somebody owes me a George Jetson kitchen, like real talk, because I've been waiting and it ain't. I don't need a small phone. I don't need a better camera on the phone. I need a better kitchen. I need a kitchen that will start doing some cooking and cleaning. That's what I'm looking for. And David says, Jha, appreciate you, all the insights. There you go. There you go. Now, before we wrap it up, how can people follow you, connect with you, get on your email list?
Definitely. You can follow me on any LinkedIn platform. I'm active on LinkedIn. Just get my name, Jha Allen. You'll be able to find me on any social platform. And then from there, just like my content, now you're in my social media funnel, so to speak. When you see my content, hopefully you'll attend my workshops if you register in any of my workshops. On in person or online. That's how I get your information. And you always link. I do have a small business group for digital marketing programs. So I just talk to things about digital marketing. You can find that on my Instagram, where you can just get a direct message to join the group. If you want to look at anything like a website, just type in 𝐿LC.com, endless8marketing.com. Type my name in on Google, and you'll start to see a lot of things that you can find. You'll be able to find me. I do my name. You'll find me. Go ahead.
I have to say, Jha, thank you for giving us your time today. As Gary says, very nice, great show. Thank you, Jha. Dr. Tachi says, this was great. Again, David appreciates you and your insights. It is Jha Allen, as you mentioned, Instagram, LinkedIn. You can find her. I know that's where I'm connected and following Jha because, him. What can I tell you? And she's a Houstonian because, Houston rep for Houston all the time.
I love my
Because people like, aren't you? Like, no. I'm a Houstonian. Check that.
Yeah, exactly. Because it's not too many of us. People. There's a lot of people that move here. They might have been here 2 years, but I'm from Houston, born and raised.
Or they're like, I'm from Houston too. Yeah, where are you from, Katie? No.
Now,
You sing proper.
yeah,
As we say, H-Town, get down. That's how
yeah, no, yeah,
you said Texas. Yes, this is how we roll over here. We are about the hue over here. Oh my goodness! Thank you so much, everybody, for tuning in. Again, and the comments keep coming. Okay, I'm trying to get all the comments in here before I wrap this up. We want to thank Jha again for sharing with all of us, those who are watching live and those who will be watching in the replay, her amazing, effective digital marketing tips. We do appreciate her giving us this time. Again, next week we have Nat. If you are self-sabotaging, you're an entrepreneur and you are doing these self-sabotaging behaviors, Nat is going to help you break that. He'll be sharing his journey. So you want to tune in next week. I think it's Thursday. I don't even know, people. I don't even know. Okay? I know it is scheduled. It is scheduled on YouTube. I'll be sharing more about it. So you can find out when he's going to be here. And last comment, because I keep saying last, but here's the last comment. Great show. Thanks for sharing today and sharing all of your great tips, Jha. Yes. Thank you, ma'am. Now, I think I finally got it. I think I got it. I got this espresso teeny. I do want to do this. The GNC Sports Talk Show is coming up at 7 o'clock Central Standard on YouTube. That's Gary and his brother, Carrie, the twins. You definitely want to check them out. 7 o'clock. So tune in if you're on YouTube or watching on LinkedIn. So do that. And with that, I'm going to play some outro music. Thank you for watching another episode of Small Biz Bites with 𝐷 𝐼𝐿, where we chat with other creatives and small business owners about their journey. And we also invite you to like, share, and subscribe to the 𝐃𝐨𝐧'𝐭 YouTube channel, where you can get the latest and greatest. Until more time.